Tales. Have you ever been crossed by a friend, or had your life come to near end? In this tale, there's two stories of betrayal so gory that relationships could not amend. Hello, and welcome to Storytime with Isto. You've reached chapter 21 of Tarot Tales, a weekly gathering where I tell a little known fairy tale based on a randomly drawn tarot card week to week in my quest to complete the tarot deck. I'm so happy that you're here with me this week. Those of you that were with me at the end of season 2 know that this week I am talking about the Three of Wands, which is this beautiful card that I have really grown to love. Now, before I dive into telling you all about it, one of the biggest things that I feel like I've learned from examining the tarot is the wide amount of interpretation that exists. And this deck, the Rider-Waite deck, was actually designed around 1908. And there have been a lot of subsequent decks that have been created that have been based off of the symbolism that different tarot readers have derived from this. So take a quick second and look at this card. And if you will, joining me live or in the chat, tell me the things that you notice. Could be as simple as a color, any specific items that you see, any vibes, any energies that you're picking up on. I, if I'm being honest, completely misread this card when I first saw it. I didn't have a good idea of what the vibe or the energy of it was. But it's actually quite a beautiful, hopeful card. Here we have this person standing with their staff planted firmly in the ground, looking out into the distance. And what you may not notice, what I didn't notice, is that down below him are those ships, which represents a sea. And the sea itself is yellow because there is a sunset happening in the distance, or a sunrise, representing this kind of like beautiful moment of reflection as we stare out into the mountains in the distance. And so if we try and bring that vibe into a tarot reading, one of the things that we would be talking about is looking confidently into the future, having a secure thought of where you're going to go, excitement, determination, and forward progress. And that's exactly what we would pull if we were going to draw this card. And likewise, this may be not achieving those things if we take it upside down. This card also has a lot of reference to travel because we have those mountains in the distance. And so if we reverse this, this could mean, oh, we're coming home a little too soon, some ill travel, not having a lot of foresight, not having a good idea of where we're headed with our future. So as a result, I really, really like this card. But I do take issue with Pamela Coleman Smith's illustration of it. So that is why I chose to update it in my little beverage book, which you will see is actually just a scaled out version of this. So you can see that, Cliff, you know? And so, I mean, I just like, it's much better. Speaking of my beverage book, I have this lovely beverage here tonight. We've got the Washerman's Donkey, which is a nice whiskey champagne cocktail. And I always try and do champagne for the first episode. And then for those of you that don't drink alcohol, we have the East Side, which is based with seedlip. All of the recipes for the mocktails for this book of Tarot Tales come straight from the Seedlip website. So if you don't like it, take issue with them. I also very rarely get the opportunity to try these cocktails ahead of time. So most of the time I'm trying these out live with you for the first time. So I hope some of you maybe tried to make a cocktail. If not, I hope you're drinking something else. And if not, whether live or later, for simply being here, to you I say cheers. Oh, I quite like that. The bitters are really punching me. All right, so a little bit of housekeeping before I begin. For this next book, I'm trying a couple of different things based on the feedback I got in my retrospective, which you can take a look in my channel to look at. But one of the things that I'm trying to do is provide more of the materials up front to encourage you all to try out these recipes and also to make it a little bit easier on me week to week. You can find all of the recipes for the cocktails and mocktails on my website, storytimewithisto.com, link below. Below this video in the description, you will also find a number of different ways you can stay in touch on social media. Or if you think social media is an evil plague, as many of you do, there's also an email sign-up list that you can join. The final thing that I'll say is that I am really working and I'm on a long 78 card journey to kind of find myself as an artist and express myself through this medium. And I'm really interested in feedback. That's something that's really important to me. So there's also a feedback form in the description below that I'd love for you to take advantage of at any point during these videos. The final thing that I'll ask before we get moving is that you like, share, and subscribe. So you can like this video. If you click my foot in, I think, the bottom left corner, that will take you to a link to subscribe to my channel, and I'd really appreciate it. All right, let's get on to the story. Now, the story today comes from Tanzania, which this is an older globe, which isn't great for African geography, but we are going to hopefully be able to highlight it with the ring light. Yes, it's in this Middle Eastern part of Africa, right here, just north of Madagascar. And there are a lot of really fascinating stories. This is one that I found right when I first started the episode, or started this project, and then I was really excited that I got the opportunity to bring it back. Two little challenges for you all. I've got two trivia questions that I'm going to kick this off with. I'm putting one in the chat right now, and I'm putting another in the chat right now. So I'm going to come back at the end of this, and if any of you that are watching this live are able to give me the answers, I'll give you a little shout out. And if not, then that question will just be out there in the ether for few folks in the future. So, without further ado, Chapter 21, The Three of Cups and the Monkey's Heart. Once upon a time, Kima, the monkey, and Papa, the shark, were great friends. Kima lived in an immense mukuyu tree, which grew by the edge of the sea. Half of its branches hung over the water and half over the land. The branches of the tree were laden with kuyu fruit, and every day at sunrise, Kima would be seen sitting on the topmost branches having his breakfast and chattering to himself with delight. After he had eaten all the fruit on the town side of the tree, the monkey would swing over to the parts that hung over the water. Now, on this day, while he was looking for a nice shady place where he might perch, he noticed a shark watching him from below with greedy eyes. "Oh, friend, my name is Papa. If you would throw me down some of those delicious things, I would be so grateful. After you have lived on fish for 50 years, you begin to feel like you would like a change, and I'm so very, very tired of the taste of salt." "Ah, open your mouth and I will throw you this beautiful kuyu." And as he spoke, he pulled one off the branch just over his head and tossed the fruit right in Papa's mouth. "Oh, how good!" cried the shark. "Send me another, please." And so they went on until Kima grew tired. "Ah, it's getting quite late. I must be going home to my children," he said at length. "But if you are here at the same time tomorrow, I will give you yet another treat." "Oh, thank you, said Papa. "You can't guess how happy you've made me." And he swam away into the shadow. For weeks, Kima and Papa breakfasted together and became fast friends. Until one day, Papa said, "Oh, I don't know how to thank you for your kindness to me. Here I have nothing to offer you, but if you would consent to come home with me, I would gladly give you anything that might happen to take your fancy." Oh, I should like nothing better, cried Kima, who had never left the island. Oh, but how can I go with you? We land animals can't get into the water.
Oh, don't let that be a trouble to you. You can sit on my back, and not a drop of water shall touch you.
And so it was arranged. And directly after breakfast the next morning, the shark swam close up under the tree, and the monkey dropped neatly onto his back without a splash. Kima enjoyed himself vastly on the journey and asked the shark 1,000 questions about the fish and the seaweeds, and Papa always gave him some sort of answer. The sun had risen and set 6 times when Papa came to say sheepishly,
My friend, we have now performed half our journey, and it is time I should tell you the truth.
What is it? Asked Kima. You sound rather grave.
Well, you see, the fact is, our Sultan is very sick, and we have been told that the only medicine that will do him any good is a monkey's heart.
Oh, poor man. I am very sorry for him, replied Kima. But you were very foolish not to tell me before we started.
What do you mean?
Asked Papa. But Kima, who now understood the whole plot, did not answer at once, for he was considering very carefully what he should say next.
Well, said Papa anxiously, why don't you speak?
Well, I was thinking what a pity it was you didn't tell me while I was still on land. If you had told me this before we started, I might have brought my heart with me.
Your heart? Why, isn't your heart here? Asked the shark with a puzzled expression.
Oh, no, of course not. Oh, is it possible that you don't know that when we monkeys leave home, we always hang our hearts on trees and go about with only our bodies? Oh, but I see you don't believe me. You think I'm just scared. Oh, all right, come on. Let's go to your home so you can kill me and search for my heart. Kima spoke in such a calm and indifferent way that Papa was quite deceived and began to wish he had not been in such a hurry.
Oh, there is no use in going on if your heart is not with you, he said at last. We had better turn back to the town, and then you can fetch it.
Oh, no, protested Kima. Let us go to your home. It is such a long way back. Murder me in your homeland.
No, we must go, answered the shark. I will swim as quickly as I can.
And so he did. And in 3 days, they caught sight of the kuyu tree hanging over the water. With a deep sigh of relief, the monkey caught hold of the nearest branch and swung himself up. Wait for me here, he called out to the shark. I am so hungry. I must have a little breakfast, and then I will go and look for my heart. And he went further and further into the branches so that the shark could not see him. And then he curled himself up and went to sleep.
Are you there?
Cried the shark, who was getting impatient. The monkey did not answer. A little while later, he called again.
Oh, Kima, let's be going.
At this, the monkey poked his head out from among the upper branches and asked in a great surprise, Going? Where?
Why, to my country, of course. With your heart, you can't have forgot.
Are you mad? Queried Kima.
Mad? What do you mean?
What's the matter with you? Do you take me for a washerman's donkey?
Don't talk nonsense. What do you mean about a washerman's donkey?
Did you really never hear about a washerman's donkey? He was enjoying himself immensely. Why, he is the beast who has neither heart nor eyes. The shark, his curiosity overcoming his haste, thereupon begged to be told the story of the washerman's donkey, which the monkey related as follows. Once upon a time, A washerman lived in the great forest on the other side of this island. And he had a donkey to keep him company and carry him wherever he wanted to go. By and by, the donkey ran away and took up his abode in the forest, where it led a fat and lazy life. And he did nothing but eat and eat and eat till he grew so fat she could hardly move. At length, Sungura, the hare, passed away and saw Punda, the donkey. Now, the hare is the most cunning of all beasts. If you look at his mouth, you will see that he is always talking to himself about everything, scheming. Well, that is a fat creature, thought Sungura, and turned out of her path to tell news to the lion, who was a friend of hers. Now, the lion had been very ill and was not strong enough to go hunting for himself. And when the hare came and told him that a very fat donkey was to be found only a few hundred yards off, tears of disappointment and weakness filled his eyes.
What good is telling me that?
He asked in a weepy voice.
You know I am too weak to chase my prey.
Oh, never mind, answered the hare briskly. If you can't go get your dinner, the dinner shall come to you. And nodding a farewell to the lion, he went back to the donkey. Good morning, he said, bowing politely to the donkey, who lifted her head in surprise. Oh, excuse me for interrupting you, but I have come on very important business. My friend, the lion, king of the jungle, has heard so much of your charms and good qualities that he has sent me to beg you that you give him your hoof in marriage. He regrets deeply that he is unable to make the request in person, but he has been ill and is too weak to move. The donkey was greatly elated at this and explained,
Oh, well, let's go at once. This is an excellent offer.
and so side by side they went down the road and soon arrived at the lion's home and were cordially invited in and sat down. Sungura gave Simba, the lion, a signal with his eyebrow to the effect that this was the proposed feast and that he would wait outside. Then he said to Punda, Ah, I must leave you for a while to attend to some private business. You stay here and converse with your husband to be. The donkey expected that as soon as the two lovers were left alone, the lion would begin to speak of marriage and where they should live and the children they should bring up. But to her surprise and terror, she saw him crouching in the corner, his eyes glaring, and with a loud roar, he sprang towards her. And in that moment, the donkey dealt the lion such a hard kick that he shrieked with pain. Again and again she struck, till at last a well planted kick knocked him right over, and he rolled on the floor, groaning in pain, and the donkey ran into the forest. Shortly after, the hare came back and called, Simba, have you killed her?
Killed her indeed. It is she who has nearly killed me. I never knew a donkey could kick like that.
Oh, dear me, fancy such a great fat creature being able to fight. Oh, but don't vex yourself. Just lie still, and your wounds will heal over time. And as he bade his friend goodbye, he returned to his family, till both the donkey and the lion's wounds had healed. When he returned, he told Simba, What do you think now, Simba? Shall I bring you to your meal?
If you will bring me that donkey, I will tear it in two,
Cried Simba savagely, and the hare laughed and nodded and went on his errand. This time, the donkey was much further than before, and it took him longer to find her. At last, the hare caught sight of 4 hooves in the air and ran towards them. The donkey was lying on a soft, cool bed of moss near a stream, rolling herself backwards and forwards from pleasure. "Good morning," said the hare politely, and the donkey slowly got onto her legs and looked to see who her visitor could be.
"Oh, it is you!"
Punda said suspiciously. "You were invited to call again and see your lover."
"Oh dear! That day you took me to him, he scratched me very badly. I'm afraid to go near him now."
"Oh, he was only trying to kiss you, and you kicked him. Of course that made him cross. He's such a sweetheart."
"Oh, if only I could be sure."
"Oh, you may be quite sure. I have a large acquaintance among the lions."
"Oh, well, if you say so, then let us go."
Simba saw them coming up again and hid himself behind a large tree. And as the donkey went past, followed by the hare, he sprang out and with one blow of his paw knocked the foolish creature dead before him.
"Take this meat and skin it and roast it. As for myself, all I want is the heart and the eyes. The rest you can either eat yourself or give away to your friends,"
he said to the hare. "Thank you," replied the hare, balancing the donkey on her back as well as she was able. And though the legs trailed along the ground, she managed to drag it to an open space that was some distance off, where she made a fire and roasted the donkey. As soon as it was cooked, the hare took the heart and the eyes and hid them away. Then he ate the meal as he needed and hid the rest away. Soon Simba came back.
"I am ready for the heart and eyes."
"Where are they?" said the hare.
"What does this mean?"
"Why, don't you know this was a washerman's donkey?"
"Well, what's that got to do with there being no heart or eyes?"
For goodness sake, Simba. You, a lion and a grown-up person, can ask questions like that. Aren't you old enough to know that if this beast had possessed a heart or eyes, it wouldn't have come back the second time? Of course, the lion had to admit that what Sunguru said was true. And soon the lion died of hunger, feeling a fool, tricked by his dearest friend. "And now," said Kima to the shark, "you want to make a washerman's donkey of me? Get out of here and go home by yourself. You are not going to get me again, and our friendship is ended. Goodbye, Papa." And with that, the monkey disappeared among the green branches and was gone to live a happy life. The end. Oh my god, that monkey's voice. It's fun, but it hurts. So I really love the story for a lot of different reasons. I think that it embodies the Three of Wands perfectly because it's got this idea of travel abrupted, of travel cunning, trying to accomplish your goals, achieving them in one story, not in the other. So it's kind of the perfect story to represent a card that is reversed. But I've read a lot of fairy tales in my effort to put together this project, and this is actually a pretty common theme, a story within a story. I generally try to avoid them because I think that they're challenging, but I liked this one a lot, and I wanted to bring it forward. Hope you enjoyed it as well. Um, all right, let's take a look and see if anyone got the trivia. Okay, so shout out to Andrew who got Simba for the Swahili for lion. And then yes, excellent. Chelsea called that out. And then the mukuyu tree, the kuyu fruit, is actually referring to a specific type of fig, which looks absolutely delicious. I've got a link in the text in the description below if you want to take a look. It turns out you can fall down a really deep fig rabbit hole. There are a lot of fun fig facts out there. So anyway, congrats, Andrew. Okay. My gratitude for this week is something that came to me as I was thinking about this idea of integrity and honesty as it relates to the kind of relationships that you have. And it always brought me back to my friend Lauren. A small funny story around this is that over the holiday break, I was staying with her and her wife, and she was in a sticky situation. And I suggested, oh well, why don't you just tell them this? And it was like a white lie, and she was like, well, I don't lie. I don't want to lie to them. And I was like, oh wow, and just came a little too easily to me. And that's because I really identify with the monkey and the hare in this story quite a lot. But Lauren, throughout our lives, has veered further and further from the monkey and the hare path, and lives her life with a deep amount of integrity in her job, and has now represented kind of a moral antithesis of my thought process. So, to you, my friend, I love you and thank you for your presence in my life. All right. You may have noticed there's not a clue behind me. I'm going to show it to you because there's a lot of information on it. And if you are curious about what this means, you can go back to the very first episode where I explain what this scavenger hunt is. But if you don't take a screenshot of this, you're going to be very confused for the rest of this book, but I'm really excited. I will also say that if you are not caught up on the scavenger hunt, now's a good time to do so because there's going to be a nice little payoff at the end of this season. All right, enough teasers. Next week, I have such a fun story for you. It's from Kazakhstan. It's got this excellent socialist bent. If you are somebody that feels complicated about capitalism, this is your story. The cocktail is called The Socialist. It's like a modified version of the Gold Rush. And this is the beautiful card. It's one of two of our major Arcana cards that we're going to deal with this season. So I hope some of you are able to tune in. And if you're not, please recommend it to somebody who likes socialism. Beautiful. And with that, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you treat yourself with love and respect. May you continue to grow and find the strength to persevere through the painful parts of growth. May you find inspiration all around you. And may you find peace. Until next week, thank you for coming back and joining me this week. Bye, y'all.